So my shop's finished, and some would think that I'm overly excited about that, and I am. However, it's also a sad moment because, yeah, when a project's done, well, it's done. But I'm finally getting on to working on guns, banging out some steel on my forge, and that's pretty exciting. But Kathy's decided, and I don't know, not quite sure why, but she's decided to do the same as she did for the cabin build, to take our 18th century blacksmith shop and show a compilation of it from the first log to the first fire in the forge. It took me exactly 3 months and 3 weeks, and yeah, it's all finished. I'm ready to start doing some work. So what we've done here is we've built a form. The firebox sits here. This is going to be the arch for the entry point for the exhaust into the chimney, which in itself is a bit complex. So we built this form, and you'll notice that it's wider. It's 16 inches wide at the bottom here, and it's 11.5 inches wide at the back. So essentially from the front to the back, it's coming in like this, which is going to create a bit of a ventura, and that's going to create a better, quicker draw from the fire that essentially sits out in the room. So, and while we're bringing it up, we're going to take those rocks and we're going to, I think the term, I'm probably going to get this wrong. My friend Luke Soames will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's called corbelling, where as we come up, we're going to start to subtly bring them out. So we're going to get a little bit more of a protrusion at the top than the bottom, and that may aid as sort of a semi-hood, if you would. Yeah. So that's where we're at. So yeah, I think we should go mix some concrete. I'll show you over here the sketch I've made of the chimney we're going to build. What we're going to build, John. So what we're hoping to do here is there's the arch, and that's called the keystone, right? And we've got to fit them up there and then find that perfect rock that kind of locks them all in. Structurally, it's like they build bridges, right? Still build bridges that way today. So yeah, so it's going to be 16 inches high at its highest point. It's 14 inches at the front, and on the inside we taper it into 11 and a half. So, and then that becomes the main part of the chimney up to this smoke shelf, which will be 4 inches. Tapers up to a 12 by 12 flue that goes out through the roof. If we did it.
The hard part.
This is it, the magic. So fragile right now. That is one completed stone forge, and that's the first one I've ever built. And like I said, I've got a lot of respect for masons, so it's going to work. That's the bottom line. It's if it isn't all that pretty, it certainly is going to be functional, I hope. We won't know till I light that first fire to see how good this side draft chimney is going to work. But the only thing missing at this point is the engine that sort of drives the thing, and that's the double lung bellows. So the whole thing moves. So I'm going to take this log out for a minute. We'll put them down like so. So there's the bottom one. And if you take a close look on it, it has two valves. There's one, and there's a second one. And then in the top one, I've got two valves. Now I have got to mount this one yet. So the middle, if you would, I'm just going to raise my center leaf. They each have a center leaf, and the reason they do that, and I'll bring this guy up, is when I'm attaching the leather, it'll go from here to the center to this one. Now these two move, this is stationary. And then on the top, this one's going to move, and the top over here, it's going to move. This stays stationary. So this has two valves in it as well, and on the bottom of this valve, I just attached a piece of cloth. I've glued it around the edges so it kind of just bags there. It gives a bit more of a seal. So what I'm attempting to do is make this as airtight as possible, which you can't get perfection, but little things like that are going to help. But the real trick, and this is where I don't know until I get all this leather on, and there's a lot of leather to put on, I get it all done until I can actually try it. And at that point I'm going to find out whether these are too heavy or not heavy enough. So if that guy's too heavy, it's not going to have enough air underneath to force it up to bring the air into the upper chamber. If it's too light, the thing's not going to drop back down and close, and they both have to do that. So on the bottom, as the bottom goes down, these open. The bottom chamber fills with air. When I'm working my lever and I pull it up, as this comes up, it's going to open these valves up, filling the top chamber. Now the only place it can go, path of least resistance, is out that ventura at the far end. I'm a bit nervous. So the way it sits right now, there's literally hundreds of leaks until I get my slats steam bent and nailed on that'll follow all 5 members that are inside the bellows. But this is the moment of truth where we see if the valves that I built in this actually go up and down as they should. So even though there's a lot of leaks, if I pull up on the bottom, it's my hope that the top goes up. Now it won't go up as much as it normally would, but we'll see what happens. Yep. Oh yeah. Huzzah. It works. It bloody well works. Today's the day. This is sort of the culmination of about 4 months' work from the first log to this point. And we're going to have our first fire in that forge. The only thing I'm a little bit skeptical about whether it's going to draw without having a hood over my firebox. I'm hoping it does because I'll have better visibility. Anyway, we're going to get set up and I'm going to light my first fire.